Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my garden on this rainy April morning. It's April 24th. It's Wednesday. I just want to wish my husband Doug a very happy birthday today. We're going to be celebrating him later. I'm very thankful for having such a loving and caring husband who helps me with just about everything I need outside in the garden. It is just rainy and cold today. I don't know the exact temperature. I will check as soon as I go inside, but I want to say it's in the 40s. And overcast, and just, it kind of stopped raining right now, so I wanted to pop outside and see if I could do my video. But it's supposed to be like this all day. My son actually plays baseball later, and the beginning of his baseball season is always so cold, and I always feel so bad for them playing outside in this weather. He plays on a turf field most of the time now, so they do play, as long as it's not thunder and lightning, they do play in the rain, so we'll be watching him later. So I think I'm just going to start in the front of the house, and I might as well just start right at my front porch here and show you my tulips. I've just been so pleased with how they turned out this year. I just simply planted bulbs in pots, not very many, but just enough to bring some joy to my life, some sunshine to my days. This is just a combination of several different kinds that I found at my local nursery center. I will put the names of all of the tulips up that I planted. This one is kind of on its way out, but even beautiful with the little raindrops. And this one is just beginning. There's just a variety of colors. This one has more white in it. And then there's more pink on these here. And then also purple. A variety of heights as well. I wasn't too picky, but the results are just beautiful. In this tulip here, we can't leave him out. He's doing his own thing on the back of this container here, getting ready to open up. I think that was part of the purple passion mixture. And this container down here, I had a couple different bloom times in here, so I have a few that have come up and are already kind of spent, but I have several that are just beginning, if you can see down in there. So we still have a show, and we'll be excited to see the next ones come up. Oh boy, I have to show you. I am loving this stonecrop sedum called Flaming Carpet. I planted it I think it was last June, right around that time, last summer. And I saw it at the nursery and I fell in love with it. I mean, I've seen all different kinds of stonecrops, but I had never seen them combined into one arrangement. And for all that I know, it's probably been around for years, but you know how sometimes you just discover something that you've never seen before, and it just really fascinated me and I loved it. So I planted 2 out here and I am loving what they're doing. You see how, well, first of all, there's 3 different kinds of sedum here, and I can show you a little bit closer. So this one here is Angelina, and then there's blue spruce, and I can't think of the name of the other one. It's the red one here. Angelina, blue spruce, and the name will come to me. I'll put it up on the screen. But it's just been lovely here. And as you can see, there's been little pieces that have broken off of it, and they're starting to root in certain areas, especially down here. See, this Angelina started to root in the blue spruce, and I don't mind that at all. In fact, I am fascinated by that. I think it's lovely. And another thing I like about this flaming carpet is the fact that I love the chartreuse color, but I like the chartreuse color combined with the darker color of the reds and the blues. I think it helps the chartreuse stand out more. Almost like when you get your hair highlighted, right? And sometimes you need, you know, the low lights too with the highlights. So here, this is the highlight and this is the low light. And it just helps everything to stand out. I'm loving that in the garden right now. And you'll have to excuse me. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I have been just slightly under the weather. I had something hit me last week. If you saw my video on putting together the pergola arch, my husband and I put together the Kinsman Garden Company Pergola Arbor. I'll show that to you in a little bit. And that was on Monday and Tuesday of last week. Well, Wednesday came and I was just hit by this virus. I was just down and out for a couple of days, and then it kind of just morphed into a chest cold. And I know you can probably still hear it in my voice, so I apologize for that. But I really wanted to get out into my garden and showcase what I'm loving before the end of April. And things are changing so much right now, so I just I needed to get out here today, so I apologize for my voice. So I hope I don't sound too congested or anything, but I am just getting over a little bit of a virus. So right in the front here, I'm just going to take this one shot, which I love. Of the beautiful ornamental pear that is flowering right now. And I just love the contrast of that against the green yew hedge and the Spiraea in front. Just that red, green, and white. And that's a magic carpet Spiraea. We'll go over and take a closer look in a moment. This is another little peekaboo shot right up against the front of the house here. You could see my window box and the dwarf Alberta spruce along with my ornamental pear tree. I love this dwarf Alberta spruce. I'll back up a little so you can see the whole thing, but at this time of year you can see the new growth is starting to emerge. And all of a sudden the tips get really light green. Can you see? And that's the new growth for the year. And it just changes its shade. It almost looks like more of a bright chartreuse color that emerges. And you just get this temporary brightness with the new growth. And the birds today are amazing. I don't know that I'll put music to this video because I don't think I need it with the sound of the birds, and it's very quiet out here this morning. And that's also very welcomed in my book. Here is my front window box. I recently just gave it a little spruce up for the spring. I had removed the annuals last fall, and what was left was just an ornamental grass in the center. I think it was the fireworks grass. And it just kind of stayed up through the winter. And I kind of got to the point where I needed to change it out. I wasn't quite ready for our annuals, the summer annuals yet, but I just, took a trip to the garden center, the one that's closest to my house, which is called Highway Garden Center. And I walked in there just with my whole goal was to just freshen up my window boxes. I just needed to look at something a little brighter. So there actually weren't many options for cool annuals right now. So I ended up choosing a perennial just to use as my thriller in the center here. And it's just a daylily. It's called Raspberry Eclipse Daylily. I just thought it was beautiful with the ruffled edge, the yellow ruffled edge, and the yellow center. And the reason why I chose this one is because I knew we still have some cool nights, and I knew it could survive in the center. Here is my thriller. And we're also creating a new garden bed in the back, so I thought that I could transplant that at some point. So it's kind of serving a dual purpose for me. And then I just put some pansies, yellow and purple, and some viola, beautiful viola, and a vinca vine at the end. Now it's interesting, these vinca vines are usually sold as just annuals, and my vinca vine, I have an area in my backyard where it overwintered. So that's why I kind of purchased these on the earlier side. Hopefully they'll survive some of the cold nights we still have coming, but I guess it's a little bit of a risk that I was willing to take. So I did purchase the vinca vines to put on the end there. There wasn't, I didn't want to put anything like Dichondra Silver Falls or anything that was a little bit more sensitive to the cool weather. And I am in zone 6B in Western New York. Okay, I'm just going to swing around here so you can get a better look at my Spiraea hedge. You can see the orange-red color that's coming out for the springtime. This is Spiraea Magic Carpet. And I think I've mentioned before, I am a Spiraea fan. I really love all of the different varieties that they have. And, all of Spiraeas, as far as I know, they all flower. But the true beauty is in the leaf of the Spiraea and the changes that it goes throughout the season. So here you can see the beginning of spring. It's almost looks like a little flame, right? It's got the orange and the red and the yellow, and then you have this one here that's like green in color. And look at that one there. It's like half orange, half green with some little raindrops. It's the little things. It's the little things in life that truly bring joy. I'm just going to step up here. Now look at this leaf here. Again, it's like, I don't know if I've noticed that before. It's like striped. And this is our hedge. Hicksue hedge, which has grown together. Finally, it's taken forever, but it's finally grown together. And then my dwarf pear, ornamental pear tree. I'll see if I can get a little closer and step down here to get a better view. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Let's see if we can zoom in on some of the blooms here. Just delightful. This is my favorite time, really, is just when it's quiet outside and you can get outside and walk around your garden. And it always seems like there's something new every day, something that's changed, something new to look at. It's such a gift. And, you know, everyone's garden is different. No two gardens are the same, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, really. We're all so different, but we can come together in a common love of nature, of plants, of flowers. Here are my Stella de Oro daylilies. I have 3 of them here that are just starting to come up, and they usually bloom. I think it's usually right about the beginning of June. And in between those, I have a Junior Walker Catmint Nepeta that always comes up beautifully every year. You can see the lush green growth. It'll come up and bloom, beautiful purple blooms, and then I usually cut it down at least once during the summer season so I can get a reflush of the blooms. It smells divine. It smells beautiful. I'm just getting a little close up on all the raindrops laying softly on the leaves. And this is the bed right by my driveway on the south side of my house. This bed is the one that's most in need of some work, but I'm just going to bring you over and show you what I've got going on here. I've got my geranium roseanne starting to come up. This is always a beautiful show. Very consistent too. It just blooms once it starts blooming, it just doesn't stop, and it goes right on through the fall season. This is my Wine and Roses Weigela. Not looking good this year. I don't even see any new growth. I'm not sure about this. It's not looking too healthy this year. We'll see. Then I have my ornamental grasses, which if I come up to the top here, I really have to address the ornamental grasses in this area, but you can see the center area. Okay, this just tells me that the grass needs to be divided. So I'm really going to get in here hopefully soon, especially with all this rain that we're having. The ground's going to be nice and soft, but I want to divide up these grasses and really, you know, make them a little bit smaller. And I also have areas that are different grasses that are growing up here. So if I look over here, you can sort of see the difference, like they're a little bit different looking here. You can see where there's a different type of grass that's growing right here. You can just see how that's different. And it's growing right here as well, which is different than the rest. So hopefully I'll be able to sort through that. It's the same thing over here. You can see that this area here is a little bit different than the grass that's over here. Now this one, I don't know what happened, but this grass here is like overcome. I don't know what kind of a grass weed this is, but it has totally engulfed this grass. I had been trying to pick through it last year, but I think I'm really just gonna have to dig this entire area out, and I probably can salvage some of the grass and then just, you know, really get to the heart of this problem and get rid of all this weed grass here, because this is not new growth. This is like weeds here that have just totally overrun this grass. I'll get on it, I will. And then this is the other wine and roses Weigela. I'm not too sure what'll happen with this, but I'll keep you posted. And my geranium Roseanne. And then my Colorado spruce. It's got some bare spots here. I mean, we trim the bottom. We trim the bottom of the tree in the fall, and this one is looking a little bit rough in certain areas, but I think it'll be okay. The other one looks pretty good. I'll just pan around to the other one here. That one's looking pretty good. Here's my blue cushion English lavender, starting to push out some new green growth. This used to be one big plant, one whole plant, but it kind of divided here on its own, which I don't mind at all. Conga line sedum, growing up nicely. That's new this year for me. My little gold star Rudbeckia, coming up nicely. And this is a compact coneflower echinacea. I believe that's pink in color. That's coming up nicely as well. And my clematis, my General Sikorsky. I have one little shoot coming up there. And my clematis Haldane. I have many shoots coming up here, so that's looking good. So I usually just come out and I'll start to train. Let me just back up the camera a little bit here. As they grow up, I just start to train them gently. See, that one got tangled already, but I try to get out here frequently before they start getting intertwined with each other and just guide them along my trellis. I might go weave it in and out all the way up. And then I also have some just little, you know, trellis line, whatever you want to call that, garden twine. I just have that across both trellis to kind of help guide the clematis. Here is a euonymus, pushing out some new growth. I have 4 of the same variety here. And I used to think this was autumn gaiety, and I think that's what my tag says, but what I've noticed is they don't trail. They don't trail like the autumn gaiety that I have in the front. So I don't know if this is actually a different variety. It very much looks very similar, but I just noticed that the trailing habit is a little bit different on the 4 that are on the side here. And again, here I have Clematis Haldane coming up, starting to grab onto the trellis. And I had a little Spiraea kind of seed itself back here, and I don't mind. I know that the clematis roots like to be in the shade. I may have to move that eventually, but it's been here a couple of years, couple of seasons now at least, a couple of summers, and I don't mind right now. I'm okay with that. another little echinacea coneflower in the back. And I'm just going to give you a shot of, this is the back gate heading into the backyard. And if you have seen my latest video, my husband and I put together the Kinsman Garden Company Pergola Arbor, and I am just thrilled with how it looks. I think it looks beautiful. I wanted it a little bit further in as you stepped into the backyard, mainly because as you come into the backyard, I did not want to lose this little view here. I didn't want to lose that view. Here, let me open the gate. As you step into my backyard, I just did not want to lose this picture. And if I had brought this further this way, it would have blocked out this entire view. So, and I also wanted to leave enough room for the climbing rose to do its thing. So I'm really happy with my placement of the pergola arbor. So we went forward. We still have some grass that we have to dispose of there, but here you can see we moved it a few feet up, and I'm really happy with that. I'll just give you a shot of it here. And I planted, with the help of Doug, 2 generous gardener climbing roses. One on this side. There's some red shoots starting to spring forth, so I'm excited to see what kind of show this will give me this year. And then here's the other one. I've already watered them several times, and we got a lot of good rain yesterday, and I know we're gonna get some more today, so it should be fine. But I'm so excited. It's so exciting when you do something new in your garden. And I'm okay with moving at a slow pace. I know I've said before, I've been in this garden at this house for 10 years, and sometimes it just takes me a long time to figure out just exactly what I'd like to do and how I'd like to do it. And also, effort, time, money spent. It doesn't all happen at once. And I think the important thing is to just enjoy the journey. And also, no matter, how big your yard is, how much space you have, it's about beautifying what you were blessed with. Your own space. That's what makes your garden beautiful. Taking what you have and making it beautiful. Making it, a sanctuary for you to enjoy, a peaceful place for you to enjoy with your family, with your loved ones. I love the picture that you get with this bed here, just tucked in the corner with my snow fountain weeping cherry. It just got done blooming. And I think I've showed you footage recently of, just within the last 2 weeks, of all of the white blooms and all of the pollinators, all the bees that it attracted. And you can see everything has fallen to the ground. And it's amazing how the garden just accepts it, right? The soil. And it doesn't really look too messy, I don't think, at all. So now this tree will be mainly green for the summer months. And then it turns a brilliant red color towards the fall season. And I have some more Spiraea here that are doing well. I know this is not magic carpet. I'll put the name up on the screen. It's a little bit different variety. And I have 2 more Stella de Oro daylilies in this bed. This is my little lime hydrangea. And you can see it's starting to say hello. Here we've got some new growth happening. And this is my Alexander Fleming peonies. You can see how much growth has happened since I put the support on. They were just little nubs coming out of the ground just a week ago, and you can see how much growth they really do. Once they start poking through the ground, they grow fast. They really do. I'll be sure to share those blooms with you when they come up. And I also have my beautiful climbing hydrangea that did really well in this pot in the ground over the winter. I was not exactly sure what would happen, but it is alive and starting to leaf out. So I still don't know what I'm going to do with it or where I'm going to put it, but I think for now it's happy. And here's a little creeping Jenny that decided to reseed itself over here. And it's a welcome sight for me. It's fine. It looks beautiful. And over here, I think I was talking to you about the vinca vines that survived the winter this past season. And here's a little crop of those vinca vines. I don't know if it was really just feeling protected in this area. It's right underneath a privet. And, you know, I was just happy to see that they survived. So I'm going to try to leave more in the ground at the end of the summer season this year and see if I can start a little bit of a ground cover of these vinca vines going. And this is what this bed looks like right along my patio. I've got 3 golden vicary privets that are starting to leaf out. I've got a lime light hydrangea on the end, also starting to leaf out. And this is the early bird catmint, which it should really start to fill in and become more lush in the next several weeks. And once it starts to fill out and bloom, it's a really nice complement to the golden color of the privet. Really beautiful. And this privet gets the golden vicary. It's in a location where it gets full sun in my yard, so it really turns almost a yellow color on top, a little bit more chartreusey green underneath. And here I just have my other peonies, and you can see they have really sprouted up as well. This is the Alexander Fleming, and I have 2 of the Sarah Bernhardt peonies also coming up. And it should be a great show for them. And here I just walked over to my shed, and I did the same window box arrangement that I did in the front with the Raspberry Eclipse daylily in the center, with the vinca vine on either side, and filled in with some violas. Look at that pretty color. And some pansies, just to give some spring interest until we're ready to plant for the summertime. Another dwarf Alberta spruce on the end. And I think I have a white compact coneflower right around the side here. Yep, you can see the little green starting to emerge. And it's starting to get chilly and raining a little bit here, so I'm gonna just show you a few more things that I have in my backyard in the month of April. I have another little coneflower here that's coming up, the white compact coneflower. My wild berry heuchera starting to wake up as well. Here's my macrophylla, endless summer hydrangeas starting to leaf out. So I'm not going to be pruning them at this time. I'm going to wait until they leaf out completely and start to bloom out, and then whatever's left over that's dead, you know, once they start to get to their blooming state where the new blooms are present, that's when I'll go through and just cut out any dead wood or blooms. Same thing over here. Oh, I have cardinals in my yard. I don't know if you could just see them. There were just 2 cardinals. There's so many birds in my yard this morning. You hear all of the birds singing to each other, playing, enjoying the rainy April weather. The Crimson Century Norway maple is starting finally to leaf out. Can you see the little leaves? I'm so happy this tree is looking like it's going to be just fine. These are the grasses I trimmed last week, and they're starting to have some new growth emerge. And here are the Cleveland pear trees I have in the backyard. They have like the same type of bloom as the pear tree up front. Beautiful. autumn joycetum has grown quite a bit since I showed you back when I was doing my March cleanup, when I was clipping away the old stalks from last year. So hardy looking, these plants. Just beautiful. And we're just coming to the end. Just a few more things to show you. You can see the new growth on the river birch tree and the beautiful bark. Okay, so you remember when I recently tried to salvage what was left of these grasses. These are Hamlin grasses. This one back here is doing fine, and I see the new growth emerging from that one. And I divided the dead part, I cut out the dead parts of these two in hopes of salvaging something there. And I do see some green coming out of this one. This one could be okay. I don't see much coming out of the other one though, so we will keep an eye on it. I may have to end up replacing that with something else. We'll see. And look at the beautiful heartleaf brunnera with the beautiful blooms, and the northern gold forsythia in the background. And it's shifting over to its green color. This is my candy mint crabapple tree. And if you look closely, you can see all of the little pink buds that are getting ready to bloom. You see that? The little pink. Do you see that? They're all ready to open, and it'll be a beautiful pale pink, bright pink. They're all getting ready to open, and it will be a beautiful pink color. The whole tree will be just transformed into this pink color. More Spiraea. And here's my hellebore. Remember when I planted those just recently? That's looking good. It's done flowering for now, but the foliage looks nice and healthy. And it's in a nice protected area where it will just, I think, do really well here. And it probably will fill out this whole little area right here. And I have a couple more back here of the Ice and Roses series. And they're also looking good. And if you hear that jingling, that is my girl Lucy. She just came out to join me for these last few minutes. And lastly, I just wanted to give you an update on my bird feeder. This is the Wild Wings platform bird feeder. If you recall, I had it placed right over in this area, and I was finding it difficult to see it from my window. I'd have to pull back the curtain, and sometimes I just, I wasn't seeing them like I wanted to see them. So I decided to move it right next to my house. And if you're putting a bird feeder next to your house, it just has to be within 3 feet so that the birds don't injure themselves. So for example, if you had your bird feeder like further out, like greater than 3 feet out, if the bird decided to like take off really fast, you know, if it's greater than 10 feet out, they could risk injury. But because it's so close to the house, if they did decide to take off really fast and they happen to, like, you know, hit the house, it wouldn't be at a speed where they would get injured. So anyways, I'm happy with where my bird feeder is, and I've gotten so many visitors. My dad's been helping me identify the different types of birds. He is a bird lover himself. He has, you know, bird feeders in his yard. Has, you know, he knows his birds. He's been watching birds for many years. But I'll insert some clips of my visitors that I've had in the last week. I've had red cardinals. I've had a bird called the gackle or grackle, and a couple other little tiny birds that my dad's gonna have to help me identify the names of those. But oh, I have just really enjoyed the bird feeder, and I'm excited to put my hummingbird feeder out soon, and I'll share that with you as well. I just want to thank you all for joining me today on this rainy April morning, and I hope you are all getting out into your gardens and enjoying the space that you have around you, the flowers and the plants, watching everything wake up. It truly is a miracle and a gift. I love being outside. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.